In order for an innovation to work at Takura, it has to be flexible, affordable, and accessible. In the early 2000s, Blackboard was our LMS, but in the last 3 years, we have started to use and explore Brightspace created by Desire to Learn, which we at Takura have called OTTO, Online Teaching Learning Environment. The major difference between the two is having that Blackboard had an interactive whiteboard which allowed the ease of student-to-student collaboration, and OTTO is only based around the discussion board. And with the use of embedded tools like Padlet, we have got some collaboration started. Video conferencing enables us to create a collaborative community with dual schools and staff in the regions when we are developing new teaching and learning materials. Primary staff here have started exploring with Hangouts to get students collaborating on inquiry-based projects that could add value to the students' learning. Adobe Connect is another tool used extensively, predominantly by staff, as a collaboration tool across the subjects and shows potential of being successfully used with our 21st century learners too.
This video is a look at actually how Adobe Connect works at Te Aho o Takura Pounamu, or the correspondence school. In the school we actually use Adobe Connect for two purposes. One of them is to actually connect staff across different regions and curriculum areas, and staff are able to have their meetings in an Adobe Connect session to actually discuss curriculum related matters. The second purpose is to connect teachers and students in a tutorial-like session. These tutorials can be synchronous or asynchronous. And what I mean by this is that students are actually able to come into a tutorial live while it is being shared, or the meeting can be recorded and students can view this later. Just to look at some of the features and layout of Adobe Connect. Students are actually able to come in at different levels and actually be invited to actually listen, present, or actually become hosts themselves. In this part of the screen here, you can actually see that students can actually be participants, presenters, or hosts. The other thing is students are actually able to use their microphone as well as their web camera to actually view and see who they are. And I'm able to do that now by just hitting the webcam view and allowing my web camera to come up on screen, which it has done so now. You can also share video and other links if you wish by using the share my screen area here, where you can able to share documents and other materials. To actually share a document, all you need to do is click on the down arrow here, share a document, and bring it up. You can share it from your computer. You can manipulate the document so it actually becomes easier to view, and you can talk about what the document is in terms of teaching and learning. You are also able to share other types of documents within the sharing screen, and you're able to do that very easily. The other thing is you're actually able to, I'll stop sharing that now, you're actually able to share a whiteboard. If I click on that, a whiteboard comes up and you're actually able to type into the whiteboard very easily and actually write on it by clicking on the tool here. You can draw, you can also enter text, and you're able to communicate this way. So teachers and students can actually share collaboratively using this tool and are able to share ideas and issues and problems during a tutorial session. Other tools that are included in Adobe Connect include the ability to be able to record the meeting and store it for later use and actually share that via a link. You are also able to talk in a chat area down the bottom here And students often do that to actually talk with each other while the session is actually going on. One of the other great things about Adobe Connect is to actually be able to change the layout. At the moment, the layout is a sharing one, but if you wish collaboration, all you do is click on this and it changes the screen around so you actually have a different layout. We have notes, chat and files. The other layout, which is quite important, is the discussion one, which actually is helpful if you are sharing your web camera with various different students, and you can see that here, and you're actually able to take polls and ask questions as well as discussion notes. Adobe Connect is able to give you the ability to share and also collaborate with everyone who is actually involved, and is a great tool to use in teaching and learning, and is a great way that we can use here at school to move forward to actually collaborate with staff and students alike.
Based on our study and research, as well as Tikura statistics in our current practices, we believe some innovative improvements could enhance our teaching and learning practices as well as student achievements. As an improvement on current functionality of student interactions and collaboration in Tikura online teaching and learning environment portal, interactive whiteboard function needs to be activated and made available to all the teachers and the students. Also, auto resource bank could be developed so that appropriate teaching and learning as well as assessment resources can be used during teacher-student interactions. However, as an alternative, Adobe Connect can be extended to a level where teacher can interact with individual students and teach using its whiteboard functions. Use of Adobe Connect can also be extended further where it is student-driven, means students and parents can individually interact with teachers and student peers as and when needed. Video conferencing is mainly used amongst Tikura teachers and staffs. This can be promoted to a level where teachers can facilitate teaching remotely to all its secondary dual students, alternative education center students, activity center students, and Tikura students attending Tikura advisories. Advisories are the regular group meetings of Tikura students which take place in smaller locations. Some of the Tikura teachers have been using Google Docs for some time, but mainly amongst each other, not with the students. So it's quite pleasing to see that recently Google Docs are being introduced to the junior students at curriculum level 3 to 5. A few teachers also have begun to use Google applications for Education Suite. This suite includes tools like Interactive Classroom, Google Mail, Google Drive, and Google Docs. These Google products and applications are developed specially for education, and more importantly, all these are free tools that teachers and students can access using any of their smart devices, anytime, anywhere, like their smartphones, their tabs, pads, laptops, desktops. Use of Google apps could be promoted and extended school-wide so that these tools can be more easily accessed by teachers and students, as this can increase the level of digital collaboration and hence students' achievement quite significantly.
The current survey at Takura of online students shows that students are finding online learning beneficial and enjoyable. Certain subjects, especially technology, clearly shows that students are keen to collaborate with other students and do group work. So to establish this community, it is imperative that we find a solution, something like Adobe, to get the students started. The school is using the TAI, Teaching as Inquiry model, from page 36 of the New Zealand curriculum to gather robust data that will not only inform our teaching and learning but also trigger improvements for the school. For the size of the school and the different needs of the students, bearing in mind our enabling constraints, our innovation could help establish a collaborative environment for teaching and learning. The supporting documents show that the school's digital journey, and this together with our innovation, could suggest and give staff the confidence to create a virtual classroom environment and apply their online learning skills. The main focus of Takura is to move totally digital with the inclusion of Education 3 tools in line with the Ministry of Education strategic plans and NZQA's digital assessment vision for the future. Peter's document outlines where we are as a school and where we need to move so that our teaching and learning is effective and supports students collaborating at various levels. This innovation will not only enable students to collaborate but also develop their key competency skills, that is the heart of the New Zealand curriculum and the 21st century learner tools. Students will move from the passenger to the driver's seat and take ownership of their deep, lasting knowledge to prepare them for careers that have not yet been defined.